So again, taking a look at satellite, it's always really cool to watch. You can see that eclipse coming in, that darkening coming in from the southwest. That's your totality zone. It shows up really well on satellite. So we know it's happening. We know we didn't mess up the calculations by like a day or two, right? we know it's coming because we can see it slowly coming. Of course, looking at the sun in real time, you can obviously see it's starting to make its way as well. One way, of course, to know that you're in totality is the moon's coming in, and it's like dead center, right? That full crest of the moon is right down the center of the sun. That's what you want to see for totality. Totality here again will last a little over 4 minutes. So we're gonna have a nice amount of time to watch this thing and enjoy it. Pretty total in 17, that's cool. Still waiting in Massachusetts. Yeah, you got some time to go still. We can take a look across the country right now. Here's the view in southwest Texas, courtesy of our friends at Geo Collaborate, actually. That's a live view down there in southwest Texas. So you can see it's a little bit more eaten than our view right here, but pretty similar, pretty close. If we change that to, say, let's go north of Columbus, Ohio. And you can see you cannot see it yet. So it's slowly making its way up the United States. Ohio, you're still waiting for the eclipse to start. It's getting probably pretty close at this point. But again, here in northern Arkansas, we are in it. What view will Arkansas County, Arkansas get? I'm going to be honest with you, I don't exactly know where Arkansas County is, and I don't entirely know how things are going to look there, unfortunately. In Kentucky, starting now, excellent. Florida, I don't have any cameras over in Florida to look at, unfortunately, but down in Florida, you will have a decent eclipse. The annular eclipse back in October was a bigger eclipse than this one will be. As funny as that is, just because you weren't in totality then. The eclipse in October technically was more of an eclipse than this one will be. Mexico almost there. Yeah, we're getting very close to Mexico reaching totality. It's like nervous anticipation is kind of one way to put it. I've been waiting for this for such a long time, and now it's here. It's kind of hard to believe. A little hard to believe. Here in Sigourney, Iowa, really eerie quiet, no birds singing or dogs barking. Thank you for that report. Yeah, the wildlife do some pretty cool things during an eclipse, I gotta say. The wildlife you'll really notice. That's part of the reason I am where I'm at, is I wanted to choose somewhere that has a lot of nature, a lot of wildlife. We're right along a river in north central Arkansas. You can see that on the screen down here. That's where we're at, the campsite that we're at. Right behind me, back there, that is a river that's right there. And so we'll likely start seeing some of the effects with like the insects and the birds and all that as we get to totality. It's a really strange world. It's very unusual. It's really hard to explain. One other thing I do want to point out too, as we're watching the eclipse unfold, once we start getting deeper and deeper into the eclipse, when the sun is covered more and more and more, The other thing that you're going to start noticing is that the shadows. Get underneath a tree that has like leaves, and you can see like the shadows down below. You're going to see a bunch of little crescent moons, bunch of little crescents all on the ground, because you're going to basically, it's one way to see the eclipse is with like a pinhole viewer, and that's basically what those leaves do. And they have these tiny little holes in the leaves. You'll see those shadows. So make sure to take a look at the shadows on the ground cast by trees. It's really, really neat to see. Also, if you don't have eclipse glasses, again, eclipse glasses, they are the safest, and when I say safest, I mean the only way to safely look at the sun. You want to make sure you have these on when you're looking directly at the sun. That includes all the way into the point of totality. Once you're at totality, you can take them off. But even that little diamond ringed effect, you should keep these on because it does not take a lot of sunlight to cause significant issues. 99.99% sun is still a lot of sun. It's a very bright sunshine. JRR asking, am I streaming on Starlink? Yes, that is the only way I'm able to do that right now. We are streaming on Starlink because we're in a pretty rural area, and I wanted to make sure I had a solid, rock-solid connection. And therefore, yes, Starlink is what we are using to power the stream today. I mentioned a colander. Yes, you can also use like a same idea, like a pasta strainer. You know, a pasta strainer will do the same thing. It's pretty wild the way these things all work out. You still live in Kazakhstan, but I'm glad I'm living in the U.S. All right, welcome to the United States. I'm gonna put my laptop out of the sunlight for a little bit. It's getting a little toasty. Put some AC on it. And I'm gonna go take a few pictures with my cameras outside. Give me 1 second. Whoop. There we go.
Well, if you've been waiting around for our coverage of the eclipse today, so have I. We've been sitting here waiting for the connection to continue to get better. We lost Wi-Fi a little bit earlier. We also lost our connection with our telephone line. And there was some thought that communications lines could be a little bit problematic when this all started up. I've got on my really cool glasses now. I've had them on for a while. I actually kind of like them when I'm just in the house doing nothing. And you can see on the satellite image, that was a big deal today, is whether or not the satellite image was going to cooperate, whether or not we were going to have showers and thunderstorms that were going to come in and obscure what was going on with the eclipse now. And we're showing you some pictures of that off and on. We've got our network of people who are out and about who are looking at what's going on across the country, especially down into the Dallas, Texas area. Our very own Brett Adair is down there. He's sort of watching what's happening there in Dallas, Texas, and beyond, because we also have the threat for strong thunderstorms coming in there over the next 12 hours or so. We're going to be looking at what's happening there as everything moves a little bit further on to the north and to the east. But you can see already the showers there across Mississippi, just south of Memphis and beyond, eastern sections of Tennessee, southwestern Virginia, and North Carolina. And then we've got the breaks into the cloud cover across central sections of Alabama, all the way down to the Gulf Coast. I'm in Destin, Florida, by the way. Destin, Florida, down here in the Panhandle. It's a little bit windy. I was going to go down to the beach and do this live from the beach, but it was a little bit too windy to do that earlier. And we didn't get a very good signal, too. And it was all about, it's always going to be about signal today. There were many network affiliates. There were many people in the media who were worried about getting a live signal out from just about any area, but especially because of this hour, the 12:30 to 3 o'clock hour, when everybody was going to be on their phones, talking to somebody else, trying to show them where the eclipse was. And in this case, that was what we were sort of thinking about. Now, you can see now that there's a little bit gone. It looks like somebody took a small bite. out of the sun there, and that is the actual first phase of what's going to happen as we move along. We're now right at the 1 o'clock hour, and this was when you were first going to see the little bite that comes out. I took my glasses out there. You know, I don't know. I think I paid $10 for these glasses. I can't really remember because I bought some other stuff with it on the old Amazon there. And I can see it. You can certainly see it. Don't just stand there and look at it. I was at Lowe's yesterday, by the way, and a man bought a $62 welding helmet so he could view it. And, you know, he's talking about letting his kids wear it, but not necessarily the thing to do. But if you got glasses, you're looking pretty good there. And that's what we were talking about, basically, is the fact that you don't want to stare at it. I actually had somebody last night ask me, say, can I look at it for just a few seconds? I'm not a doctor, but I can tell you that doctors tell us no. You shouldn't be looking at it for a few seconds. And you should also make sure that your pets and animals, and I thought about this. I asked the doctor last night, I said, so dude, how do you, I mean, I got cattle. How do I bring them in the house all at once? I don't mind one at the time, but you can't bring all the cattle in. So I know there's that going on with the animals, but don't just deliberately leave your dog or your cat outside to stare at it. I don't know why they would. A lot of fallacies going around about what was going to happen when the actual totality set in, and it's not going to be total for everybody. It depends on where you are, and as a result, you're going to end up seeing different things that'll be happening. We're seeing about a quarter. Jarvis, can you tell me where this is? Who's taking this video that we see of the sun right there? Is this a NASA? I think this is NASA. Oh. Nick Stewart's in Arkansas, and Nick was telling us, well, he's in Central Arkansas. He's got a great view, by the way. I don't know what kind of a filter he's using, but the cloud cover is not necessarily a problem. And that was a big, big deal. Jarvis, I don't know if you can zoom into the Dallas area or anywhere there in Central Arkansas, but that I-40 area was always going to be a big concern whether or not the cloud cover was going to be too thick to see anything there. And no, it's really central Mississippi. I-55, I-20 going across Mississippi, I-10 down to the south. Those are areas where you're socked in with rain and precipitation, and you're just not going to see a whole lot there through all the cloud cover. Back in the eastern sections of Texas, Dallas south through to Houston, down 44, all the way down to Huntsville, you're probably seeing a little bit, but you're somewhat obscured as well. And then up into eastern Tennessee. The rest of the area along the line of totality actually looks pretty good with a partly cloudy sky now for most areas, if not mostly sunny and clear. So a decent deal happening there when it comes to both of those areas. And I know that there's a lot of relief because a lot of money. I talked to a friend of mine who works at one of the major weather networks, we'll just say, and he told me that they spend more on this one particular event today than in any event that they have covered in the last 10 years. So I know some money was put into this and a lot of time and effort put into this, especially into the Dallas-Fort Worth area. My good friend Meredith Garfalo is there co-hosting along with Neil deGrasse Tyson. The event is taking place there at the stadium, actually, or we would have her on at this point. But there, central Kentucky, back off to the north into the central sections of Pennsylvania, southwestern New York State is where you're going to see most of what we're talking about there when it comes to the obscuring the sunshine with all those clouds that'll be moving on through. Again, the other thing that's going on here is that we do have through the afternoon a chance for severe thunderstorms. They'll be coming into the western side of Texas and moving on eastward, coming in across the northern sections of the Red River Valley, and right there just south of I-40 or north, if you will, of 44. Coming across Alexandria over to Natchitoches into the area there near Zwally, we'll have some big thunderstorms this afternoon coming on through, and there is an enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms right there across the eastern sections of Dallas, Texas, and all the way down to the south to near Houston, actually. And you can see offshore, off the Atlantic shore there, we've got the, actually what we're seeing is the warm air moving over the colder water temperatures just off the Atlantic coastline. So that's where we are at the moment. You can see what we're looking at there. What we're talking about is that enhanced risk for strong to severe thunderstorms. That's going to be there in the orange color that you see. And then the slight risk that illuminates from that out to the east goes over to Shreveport, Louisiana, and as far south as looks like Texarkana there. there's that chance, that enhanced chance. There's still a moderate and a high. So it's the third from the top level of expected severe weather possibilities as it goes from the west to the east. Actually, this is going to be a player in the forecast for several days on down the road, probably even into the day tomorrow across a similar area. But then moving on eastward as we get into Wednesday and Thursday along the Gulf Coast, really from I-10 northward all the way back up into northern sections of Alabama and Georgia. Probably some of that stuff, too, is going to be having changes in what type of precipitation you're going to see. Most likely, we're going to end up having some large hail and a few of those thunderstorms. We call them hailers when they do that. And the likelihood of a tornado or two is still very possible when we move along. You know, there are a lot of people who thought this is going to be a quick event. It's kind of like, I don't know, there's a bigger bite that's come out of there, and I don't know all the terminology to tell you exactly what phase we are in here. It's not really half gone. But it's kind of like watching you pour maple syrup, cold maple syrup out of the refrigerator. It's going to take a while. You got about till 3:30 before that thing is all said and done. But for most people, you're going to end up seeing a whole lot more than that, especially into the east, right along the Mississippi River in particular. And I think it's a great sign there that our dude there's got at least what he sees. Who's this, Jarvis? What are you looking at? Yeah, where is he? Where is Nick? Where's that shot of the sun coming from? Originating. Heber Springs, Arkansas. So we got a lot of people in Arkansas. Did I mention I'm in Destin, Florida? I'm down here in the panhandle of Florida. I'm kind of looking at the same thing, actually. We have sort of the same situation here. On either side of the line of totality, to the north or to the east, you end up having the same view. It's not that irregular at this point, but what we do see is that we're building a little bit after 1 o'clock now. It's 1:06, and still we have just about that little small, about a little less than a half, we'll say, of the sun that is missing because of the fact that the moon is coming into phase now and moving in between the Earth and the sun. And these are some pictures coming in. This is some video coming in. I know Brent Adair is out there and a couple more people, but in the line of totality, I don't know if you've ever been in one, if you might remember 2017 or whatever the case may be, but it's a really weird sort of feeling. It's you know, a lot of people. There were a lot of people who were talking about you know, people going crazy or whatever the case may be, people doing some really odd things. My neighbors run around naked all the time, so it's not necessarily that I'm looking for, but I think there's the possibility of having some strange stuff happening for sure. And I can only say that because they're standing here watching at the moment. But anyway, these are my glasses. I hope you've got yours on too, and I hope that you're being safe as this eclipse builds and moves northeastward. The line of totality goes right on up through Memphis, Tennessee, back over to Arkansas and beyond, and then makes its way northward and eastward into the northeastern United States. You know, they had a big snowstorm up into the northeast just, 4 days ago now. They have snow on the ground. I was talking to my buddy Ted up there who does the weather in Portland, Maine. 24 inches of snow. They got snow on the ground, but the outside right now with the glasses on, waiting for this to arrive there into the northeastern United States. And so as it does so, as it moves on further and further to the north, eventually you'll see that taking place. So I'll tell you what we're going to do from time to time. We're going to drop out because this is a 3-hour event. I have about 30 minutes worth of voice. I'm going to turn it back over. We're going to go to some of the analysis from some of our other compadres who are out there, who are also watching what's happening over there into the line of totality. Brett Adair is going to join us here very shortly. Drew Richards will be on with us from Florence, Alabama, here very shortly as well. And I got Brandon Jarvis with me, who was in my ear. He's no longer in my ear. And let me just say, we encountered we were fine right up until 12:30. We had communications, and it was all fine. And I looked over, and everything that I had that was going to a server suddenly dropped out. And we started getting notices that they were going to do backup servers. And we are on a backup server here at the moment, and that's the only way that I'm able to come to you right now. I got my iPad on a trash can. It's a good-looking trash can, but I'm not exactly technically set up here at the moment. So as long as that's going on, we're going to end up with more and more of the same here through the afternoon. I don't really think that there's going to be a tremendous amount of communication failure. Is that Brett? Do I hear Brett? In Plano, Texas. Is it really Plain? Is it? How did it get that name? Yeah. Did you have trouble? Did you? But it's cool.
No, we've got a mix of sun and clouds right now. We've got a lot of people here. That's the biggest thing. We're on top of a parking garage here in Plano to get a decent view of this eclipse. As long as we can break out of the clouds here. We've got some low clouds because we've got quite the possibility of severe weather this afternoon, especially hail.
That's iOS.
Yeah, I knew that was going to happen. We were talking about that just a few moments ago. Is everybody prepared for that? By the way, I mean, with everything that's going on, everybody still knows there's the possibility of severe weather.
Yeah, everybody's kind of paid attention to that today in terms of the severe weather threat. We had a couple of questions about that recently here, but yeah, I think everybody kind of is aware. I mean, it's very muggy and hot. It was rather dry here yesterday. We had lower dew points down in the 40s, even the 30s in some of these areas. And now our dew points have skyrocketed into the 60s, which is why we're seeing some of this lower, more thick cloud cover come to play too.
Yeah. So what you going to do, B? You're going to hang around there? You're going to try to go west? What's your deal for the day?
Well, just saw the latest outlook from the Storm Prediction Center, and it has been expanded. The enhanced risk is expanded all across the Metroplex. Looks like the primary threat that we're going to be monitoring for is any supercell thunderstorms that can form have the potential for very large hail, maybe even softball-size hail, right into the Metroplex, where we're pretty unstable now at the moment. So what we're going to do is we're going to get through the eclipse. We've still got another hour and a half to go or so. We're about halfway to totality right now, and then we're going to kind of look at the surface chart and monitor for any thunderstorm development and move. West would be better, or in this particular area would even be good. The further east we go to the center of that path, traffic's going to be just a crazy nightmare. It's really a problem if we do get storms forming this afternoon with all of the additional traffic, cars, just population that are in some of these areas.
Yeah, you think? I'm telling you, we had a little bit of failure here. I don't know if it's I'm not going to say my cell company, but Boost had a problem here for a little while, and AT&T, and I know that was initially, and I think we got back up just basically because of that. And I know there was a big scare. This all felt like Y2K to me all over again. And I know there was a lot of stuff that was anticipated that I hope didn't happen. You haven't heard of anything weird going on?
Well, not so far. In terms of communications, we've been up and down here a little bit too. Obviously, we've got a Starlink system down below, which is working pretty good right now. So we've got that to back up on communications. The cell towers have just kind of been up and down. We're a little slower speeds. Even right now, I've got a slower speed on the top of this garage where, I should have pretty open air to hit a cell tower. So that's about the only thing that I've seen so far. I haven't had any trouble with fuel around here just yet. I'm sure that there are some areas in smaller towns really where you're seeing just a huge populace of people. I saw, crazy traffic lines in northern Arkansas earlier where, up in those mountains, they're not used to seeing just thousands of cars at any given time. So that's about the craziest thing that I've seen so far. A little bit of communication issue and then just lots and lots of traffic.
Hey, B, when did it become apparent there that Dallas was going to see something?
Really and truly, it's still, again, we're seeing breaks in the clouds, but I didn't know anything for sure until maybe 2 hours ago where we saw a pretty good clearing to the southwest that was moving up into the area. It's always kind of been a crapshoot for me here. But as you can see, literally that batch of clouds and precipitation that's over Louisiana, Mississippi, up into the Tennessee Valley in the Northeast, that could have easily been, 200 miles west, and that makes a massive difference across most of the path of this eclipse.
Which was pretty much the basic forecast over the last 10 days ago, 360 hours ago, when the whole thing came out.
Right.
And we were thinking that might happen, and it almost came to fruition, like you said. But a little bit further to the east, I think a lot of people in Birmingham, southward, all the way down to Montgomery, in our hometown, in the panhandle of Florida here, because we've got pretty good visibility here as well. And I haven't looked at it in a while. I'm stuck over here with the garbage can, but I really think that basically everything's looking pretty good for viewing. East of I-65, wouldn't you say, and along I-10 going over to Jacksonville. You still got some, at least some of it cut off over there as well. Brett, talk for a second. I want to go see it.
Yeah, for sure. It looks like areas, especially along that 65 corridor, south of Huntsville, down to Birmingham, Montgomery, and then down to Panama City, over to Jacksonville, into Atlanta metro area. That's a good viewing area for a partial eclipse. They won't see the totality, but partial eclipse in that area for 85 to 90% of the eclipse. But you'll still be able to get a good view for sure. Again, that one unlucky area, Birmingham's going to cut it close when it comes to its closest point of totality. Those clouds are approaching Tuscaloosa now pretty rapidly, starting to fill in there. Tuscaloosa may not be so good, but Birmingham may just squeak it by.
Yeah, I've been watching my text messages. A couple people from Birmingham texted, but I think most everybody's getting to see at least a little bit of it, and that's what's pretty cool. I know they let schools out. I think around here they let schools out. I know Nashville they did, calling it an education day, and so at least I hope that happened. Kind of like a snow day for us, I guess, in the old days. But more or less, except for you folks in Mississippi, I'm sorry. As if things weren't bad enough, there with all that heavy rain and the thunderstorms, you're not really going to have a lot of visibility when it comes to seeing this. But you can see it right here. It's right next to me there on the right-hand side. And I don't know. Brad, is that called something right there? That little bike that's gone? Is it called like I don't know. Is it called something? Oh, solid.
There we go. I had to get my camera fixed here. Sorry, I had to refresh the feed here on my end. Again, that signal that we talked about up and down is definitely a thing here. But I don't know if Jarvis wants to pull me in. If you can pull me in on another box, I can show you here. It's starting to kind of darken some as we're seeing the sun become more obscured with the eclipse. But you can see lots of clouds in the background now that are also hampering our visual. Once we get that piped in, you can just let me know, Brandon. And but yeah, we've got somewhat of a view in between the clouds here today, which I didn't really expect to this morning.
You're up, B.
All right. I'm gonna step out of the shot. Again, you can see we're gathered here with a whole bunch of people across this parking deck here in Plano. We're just off of the President George Bush Parkway here. That's the turnpike on the north side of Dallas here that cuts through Plano. And let me see if I can maybe even get you a little bit of a better view here. Let's take a walk around and let's look at some folks. Tons of people out here.
Tell them Dave says hey.
Yeah, they're a little focused out here.
Yeah.
We got babies, we got puppies, we got Heath here. Here's our big camera that we're working on taking some photos of the eclipse here. I don't think we can see anything right now. No, we can't see anything. It's too dark. You can see we got pets out.
A guard dog.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, this is a whole big deal. You've got other people down here. You got your more, let's say your more professional types. Let's take a walk down the garage ramp here. You can see these guys have got telescopes that are set up with the
Wow.
filters on them. So they're basically out here. Look like they're in chairs for Oklahoma State University. I wonder if they're doing something. But you can see you got all kind of equipment here with cameras, and those are tracking telescopes. So these have been around here for a little while.
You know, I
Thank
thought
you.
quite a few people asked me, was she just complimenting your shirt?
Hold on just a minute. She was bringing my glasses that I dropped because I was walking around being a dummy.
Yeah. A couple of people had asked me this week about the temperature, about whether or not it would fall during the eclipse. And I don't know if it's because it's on my mind or whatever, but I seem to feel it here in Destin. I think the temperature is falling a little bit. And I wonder if there's anything to that. Did you see the package I did about that in Nairobi? The temperature fell 18 degrees during an eclipse one time in 1 hour.
Oh, that's absolutely, and I feel like that's the case right now. It's been very, very warm here, and we're nowhere. Like I said, we're probably 60%. We've still got 40% to go. So we're dealing with a little bit of a drop in temperature now. It feels like it'll be interesting because we're pretty close to the site, the weather station site here in Dallas, and that'll allow us to kind of track that here in just a little bit. We should see a trend on the graph go down as we enter totality. But here's something we need to talk to everybody about. You need to have the proper viewing apparel if you're outside watching this. I've seen several people pointing their phones just up at the sun. Obviously, your eyes are worse. If you stare at it, it's going to burn your retinas. It'll burn your sensors out on your phone as well if you don't have the proper filtering. So when I turn around in just a minute to look up, I'm going to put these things on. Oh, wow, okay. We're probably 75% covered now based on what I can see. But yeah, we're definitely seeing a bit of a temperature drop now because of that.
Whose camera is that, Jarvis? Can you tell me? And where is that originating from? Brett, can you see right now? Can you see the eclipse?
Okay, that's that's Nicholas's camera. So that's Nick Stewart there. That's one of our stringers. He's just to the northeast of us, so they're going to get totality after we do. But we'll take another look up. We're luckily getting a decent break, and it looks like a crescent moon as I look up now. So it should get much darker here in the very near term. I started to put the drone up even.
Wow, yeah, I wonder what that would look like.
Well, you really can't point it toward the sun. It'd burn the sensor up, so I don't have the right filter for this. But you would definitely see a darkness. I'd love to see a time lapse of what we're doing here and see a darkness. But there you go. Jason's in Capel, Texas as well. That's a great shot right there, and that's pretty close to what we're seeing here in Plano.
Well, I'm going to walk back out this way a little bit and see because I'm underneath an awning. Oh, yeah. It's always cool. I don't know how many I've seen. You know, I think I sent you the deal I was on with the NASA channel back in 2017 in Denver, Colorado. Right. But I'm not really sure how many I've seen in my life. I know most of the time. Remember when we used to make those cardboard boxes that you'd have a little pinhole in?
Yep. Yes.
So you sort of see what it was like. I'm missing my cardboard box right now because I always did kind of like that. But no, this is very cool. And there's my neighbor was talking about he's much older than I am. My neighbor up in Alabama, and he was talking about going through a couple of them. He said, I always love how the wind lets up. Bro, Mark, the wind hadn't let up down here in Florida. The wind is definitely a pretty strong south wind at the moment. Kept me from going down to the beach really because I didn't have enough equipment. And the one thing I thought of, Brett, was I don't have any sandbags. And then I went, yeah. But there is, I've been getting sand out of my truck for days. I could have found some sand, but yeah, it's definitely a cool event, no matter what.
Yeah, this is cool. There's a lot of people, again, like you said, this is really an educational day for a lot of people, a lot of school systems. It's a great event. It's the last one that we're going to see in terms of a totality type event for a solid 20 some odd years across the United States. So, again, for some people, this may be their last opportunity to see it. For me, I'll be almost 60 before we get another. So
So you're
it's hard
talking
to.
about me, is what you mean? You mean for me,
Uh,
this is it. So I
it's,
should have been out there looking at it right
pro-
now.
it's probably it, Dave. You probably want
Yeah.
to go take some time and take it all in. Or, I mean, we can go to, Spain next year. I think they get one next year. So we can do that if you want.
Well, I'd do that.
Or 2 years. 2 years.
2 years.
Yeah,
I
2 years.
would do that. I would do
Well,
that. So again, kind of what we're looking at is the satellite imagery there. Brent got some rain moving into West Alabama at the moment. Got all that stuff coming across Mississippi. Is any of that going to be strong today?
I mean, it doesn't really look like it. You get some thunder and some lightning out of that stuff today. It doesn't look like there's enough instability really further to the east with the main trough axis coming into Texas, and that's what we're worried about. A lot of instability trying to build with the lapse rates that are going to come in. You got some cold air aloft. You add wind shear to that, and then we've got problems now. This is supposed to impact a lot of the same area for the next 2 to 3 days, really. This portion of Texas for the next 2, and then it shifts a little to the east, maybe toward the Louisiana border, for Wednesday. But the one thing that I can say is almost a certainty is heavy rain. I'm very concerned about the possibility of a corridor flooding setting up somewhere with the southwest flow that we have aloft. So that's something that's got my concern. But as we turn here to the convective outlook, you can see now we have a enhanced risk from north and west of Abilene all the way right through the heart of the Dallas-Fort Worth metroplex here over towards Shreveport. And we've got large to giant hail possibility here, 2 to 4 inch hailstones with any of these storms that form this afternoon. So if you're riding the 35, the I-20 corridor, the I-35 corridor, north and south of the metroplex, east and west of the metroplex, you could have serious problems as we go into the afternoon. Again, that's why we're enjoying this time right now. No thunderstorm activity in the area. It's given us, some partial views as the eclipse has taken place. So this is a good time for us to get a little bit of downtime in here while we talk about this, but also, talk about preparedness and the element, because this could be a whole different scene here as we approach 4 or 5 o'clock this evening.
Yeah, and it's not necessarily been a slow, severe weather season by any means, but and we've had several enhanced risk, moderate risk, those kind of things, and sort of gotten out of those fairly well. I know for the one person or the two people who ever got hit by a tornado, it's the worst thing that ever happened to you. But what I'm saying is, over as a whole, we've done fairly well so far, Brett. But there's still a lot of time here left in the severe weather season as we go along. There's no reason to let up really soon enough.
Oh, no. We're really just beginning to get into the thick of it. I mean, it's April the 8th. This is really when parts of the deep south and the southern plains really begin to get active. So it's not uncommon for us to really start for a decent stretch of severe weather during this time of the year. So, a 4 or 5 day stretch is pretty common now as we're entering what would be the heart, really April, May, and even into June as you shift toward the central plains and the northern plains. So, we got a long way to go. I think the certainty that I see out of this is, again, heavy rain, and I think the potential for some really destructive hail is on tap. And the problem with that is it's more in metro areas this time, it looks like. You're talking Abilene, Plano, Dallas, Grapevine. You're talking all the surrounding areas. And now, we do have just to our south and east, it looks like that's a tornado watch now that extends into central Louisiana, back over toward College Station. So we're going to have to deal with the possibility of anything that really forms those, frontal boundary around, good spin, anything that goes into rotation, maybe messy, maybe rain wrapped, but, tornadoes are possible as well.
Yeah, and it's odd because normally I think we'd both get an alert about that, and I didn't get one. about the new tornado watch coming out. I didn't get one, but I'm
Not
sure
sh-
everything. If it's not delayed, it's kind of slow today.
Oh, I'm sure. I'm sure. I don't have all of my resources in front of me currently, but I tell you what, it's getting really dark. We're almost to totality here. It's definitely felt the temperature drop. Oh
Yeah.
yeah, we're approaching totality really, really fast now.
Let's see. Oh yeah, I see that now.
Give me just a few minutes. I'm going to jump. It's gotten really dark here. Well, actually, I'll just leave this running, but I'm going to step out of the shop for a few minutes.
It's fine. It's odd. I'm going to blame everything that's happened to me today on the eclipse because nothing that really panned out. None of my microphones worked. My Bluetooth didn't work. My headset didn't work. Nothing worked there at the last minute. And right as we were about to come on the air at 12:30, so we had to go to the backup plan. I pulled the garbage can over. I set the iPad on, and boom, we're live, baby. And that's kind of the way it happens sometimes in television. And we appreciate you being with us. I can't even see the chat area right now. And I apologize for that. I can't get to YouTube on my other resources. And one of those is a cellular line. And I don't think it's just me. I think the cell service down here in the Panhandle depends on what you got. But I know mine has quit. I could probably reset my phone maybe and fix that. But I'm afraid everything will go haywire by that point. And like Brett was talking about just a few moments ago, there's now the totality set again across Dallas, across Plano, Texas, and now into the southwestern side of Arkansas, coming across the Arklatex there, moving into the I-40 region, out of Memphis, and very likely now seeing that all the way up to Louisville, seeing the changes coming up as we go into the next several hours. For most, totality was to come around the 2 o'clock hour, a little bit further to the north. But as Brett said, now it's very, very close. So the video that you see to the right-hand side is going to be from Arkansas. That's going to be from central Arkansas there. The video that you do see, a tremendous filter there. I love the way he's got that done. And is that Jason? I think that's probably Jason there. And does a great job always, even when it comes to Stewart. Who? Oh, Nick Stewart. I'm sorry. It's Nick Stewart. Well, Nick does just as well. They all do. All the people who are out there for us this afternoon, really, really appreciate them. And what a great job at the photography that he's doing now currently there with this as it moves a little bit further to the north and to the east along that line. And as it goes on by, you're looking at about 2 hours and 45 minutes of some sort of obscuring to the sun, which again, I got to believe that the temperature has fallen just a little bit. That was one of the big questions all week long I was being asked was, Dave, what's going to happen to the temperature? Is it going to change very much? And certainly over the area of totality, it has to. It's not like a cloudy day. Clouds still absorb heat. Clouds try to reflect the heat. A lot of times they do. That's what the whole greenhouse thing and everything. Clouds will, when you get cloud cover, the solar radiation that comes in, about 80% of that is reflected back up into the sky, back up into the atmosphere. It doesn't all get absorbed terrestrially. So what we're looking at basically here is the fact that these rays of sunlight that would normally come here, be unabated and get here and heat up the earth, they're being deflected right now. And it would be as if we lost the sun for about a 2-hour period. Is kind of what's happening. You've always wondered what would happen if, Hollywood has always pointed toward movies where, something happens, the sun, we quit rotating or the sun does something weird. You can sort of look at this as a tiny experiment of what would happen if we didn't have the sun. And this is just going to be about, really an hour from 80% up to totality. You'll have about an hour of that. But I think a lot of things are happening. The other thing that I remember the last time I went through one was the animals. And I don't know if you can hear the birds behind me, but they just started chirping fairly loudly. And it does seem a little bit odd. I started to say it's turned cloudy here, but it's not. It's just that it's really cranking up now, even down here into North Florida. I'm in the panhandle of Florida. And as a result, right here, we were supposed to have about 80% obscurity. And I think we're probably pretty close to that now at the moment. And so that's kind of where we are with what we were watching. We're looking at others and what they have. NASA has a program going on right now with a great friend of mine, Meredith Garfalo, and Neil Tyson DeGrasse. They are hosting that in Dallas, there at the stadium. And I know that she was worried about the cloud cover, and it looks like it's moving pretty well down to the east, although reaching totality, and theirs is going to go the other direction now pretty soon across eastern Texas that we were talking about there. The other thing, this is going to be interesting because there's now a new tornado watch out. We just saw that just a few moments ago back to the west. A new tornado watch out that when you look at computer modeling, these tornado watches and all this forecast is driven by an analytical process that goes into the computer and says it gets spit out 4 or 5 hours later. Takes it a while to do so, but I know at FSU we had a crazy supercomputer that would crunch these numbers from all across the world, basically, and spit out an analytic forecast. And as a result of that, they do use solar radiation that goes into the computer models that spit out a forecast. And solar radiation is one of the ingredients it takes to get severe weather. Well, all things considered, solar radiation the next couple of hours there in Texas is not going to be what it would be or could be should it be a sunny day there. If you've heard, Brett, can you hear?
Yeah, I got you.
If I'm talking like a tree hit me, just tell me. But I started thinking about this too. You know, the models don't consider what's going on right now with an eclipse.
No, so, not at all.
You know, maybe that's thrown a wrench, especially I would think in the short-term models, the HRR, anything that's rapid, I would think might be thrown off a little bit by the fact that
the thermals are changing, right?
Yeah.
Well, we're three minutes now. I don't know if you can tell it's gotten darker. The camera may be adjusting. We're 3 minutes from totality here, and it has just gotten incredibly dark in terms of the sky here. It almost looks like dust, but the temperature drop is what's been incredible to me. This is my first time experiencing a totality event, and we're seeing, I can guarantee you the temps dropped 7 or 8 degrees here in the last 10 minutes as the sun is getting completely obscured now. We're starting to get to that totality point 2 minutes away here in Plano.
That's incredible.
Let me take a look.
I'm afraid to go out of this to look at any of the ASOS stations or anything to get a 5-minute update, but I agree with you. I think the thermometer has fallen even here where I am considerably.
Well, it's going to be interesting to see what type of atmospheric recovery we get, because then you also have to count the cloud cover that's developing in the area. But this could be stunting some of that cloud cover, which is, again, incredible. As you can see, I mean, you may not be able to. I hate that we're doing our coverage here today on an iPhone, and it's adjusting for the lighting.
I know this is the one time you're upset you've got a really good camera that's compensating for the darkness around you.
I got something for you, and this will tell you how dark it's getting. Give me just 1 second. Let me flip the script here on you. Look at the lights.
Oh yeah, the lights are on.
Yep.
That's wild. Yeah, because see, it looks like a great shot to me. It looks your camera has compensated so well. If it weren't for the lights, I wouldn't know it was that dark there.
Yeah, it's very dark. You can definitely see the lights are on here. So again, incredible pretty incredible event. This was my, again, first time experiencing it. I'm sure you can see a lighting difference a little bit. Just kind of crazy. All right, I think we're almost. All right, we still got the ring around the sun right now, but it won't be long.
Take photographs of it.
Let me tell you what. Let's take a walk over to the east. Let's take a walk. Let's see if we can show you what we see from the lens right now. Oh yeah, here we go. Check this out.
Depends on which one it's actually using for whatever your purpose is.
There you go.
What's that?
That is what we're seeing right now.
Oh, yeah.
That's in the back of the camera.
Oh, wow.
So that's where we're at right now. We're getting close to totality.
Is that a horse? How did a horse get there? What is that?
We're actually about to have to take that filter off as soon as we get to totality to get the diamond around it.
Oh, that looks pretty cool. That's in Texas right there. Well, he just backed out of it.
Yeah, hold on. Let me see if I can even show you from the. Oh, look, that's through the glasses.
That's through the glasses?
That's through the glasses.
Oh, yeah, right there. Little bitty thing. I still think mine's better than yours. I really do.
Oh, man. It's like extremely dark now. It looks like a thunderstorm, but there's no storm. All right, hold on just a minute.
I got nowhere to go.
I tried to send you a picture of you in the trash can, but it wouldn't go.
That's going to be the best camera stand I've ever had. We gone? We still up?
Yeah. I met him last time he was in.
Drew, we still on? Did Brett go away? Did we lose him? Oh, I thought, what was that a horse? What was that in the background? Okay. Well, anyway, that's kind of where we are at the moment with everything that's happening there. I'm sorry. I know you're sending chat stuff and I can't see it, so I can't really answer any of your questions. I probably wouldn't know them anyway, but basically what you're seeing right now. Huh? Ask some questions, and Jarvis will let me know, by the way. And I'm talking loud because I don't have, none of my mics work today. I had 3 microphones over here. Not any of them were working, but the tornado watch that we were talking about there a few moments ago, that is still, that was a reality. You know, there's a whole lot of stuff that's coming across right now on the internet that I don't believe. Most of the time I really don't anyway, but a lot of stuff's coming through now at the moment that is really kind of AI driven. So be careful of that. If you're on Facebook and you're reading some of that crap, it's either not real or just make sure you confirm that with somebody. Because actually one of my Facebook people just said he was running for cover, and I don't know why. So, but basically that's what you see. That's on I-55 right there, the 2 little signals that we have. We have a decent little cell moving across I-55, coming across I-22 down to the south. It's all the way down to New Orleans and along I-10. Coming out of the western side, it looks like Calcasieu Parish all the way to the west. And then that's going to be our warned area there, or our watch area there, just to the north of Houston, just south of Huntsville, Texas, all the way up into the Big D later on this afternoon and tonight, coming out of I-20, I-35, going northward to Oklahoma City, or even into the I-70 area that goes over to Denver, but Kansas City ways to the east, over to Louisville. We got some big thunderstorms there around the eastern side of Tennessee. I say big thunderstorms. Mostly just a moderate rain that's falling there in the eastern side of Tennessee, into the mountains, the Great Smoky Mountains, northward over to Baltimore and in New York State, central Pennsylvania. Some of those scattered showers there are still around, but that's a cold area up there to the north. They had big snow there not long ago. You might remember it's 4 days ago when the big snow hit there into New England. and it goes all the way down to the south into Baltimore, clearing skies across I-95, going all the way through eastern sections of Florida down to Tampa. Beautiful day. We have onshore winds here out of the Gulf of Mexico at the moment. And the Gulf has actually cooled off. You know, I was here in the northern part of Florida back at the 1st of March, and we were almost at 70 degrees. I was out in a boat out near the 100 fathom mark, and we had almost 70 degrees. Now the water's cooled all the way down to 65 degrees at the same area, within like 3 miles of the same area yesterday. So it's a little disconcerting. A lot of the people who come in out of the north don't give a crap about what the water temperature is, because I saw a lot of people out there swimming into the Gulf. They don't have thermometers, or they're just pretty used to having cold water up there in the northern sections of the U.S., but they don't mind getting out into the Gulf of Mexico. I like it to be about 85 for me, which will be a couple of months from now. But 70 degrees the 1st of March, and we're now down to 65. It's pretty good temperature fall for the water. And the water is one of the reasons why all these thunderstorms and the big storms that we see driven back into eastern Texas would be coming off of the Gulf of Mexico, because of the warm water temperatures, the latent heat that's driven there that makes thunderstorms. Dew points that are high. I'll tell you what, our dew points are pretty high too, because it is sticky out here at the moment. We have very sticky conditions that will be with us at least for the next 24 hours here at least, and high winds pretty much everywhere. Brett was mentioning those winds just a few moments ago. It's windy all across the southeastern United States, and I really don't see a reason why that's going to be anything that would change anytime very soon. It's still going to be that way as we approach the next couple of days. I'm going to walk away for just a second, but I'll be right back. I want to see what's going on.
David, how long does it last?
Roughly 2.5 hours. This is over at 3:15.
So totality is.
Totality is right at 2. What time is it?
14.
Right at 2:01. Totality. We don't get totality here, but it'll be a little bit more than that. Oh, a couple of women walked up in bikinis and they were asking me questions, and so I had to actually answer those. But pretty much what you see now is getting close to the totality line, especially there into northeastern Texas. For you in Alabama, you know, that I-20-59 corridor, pretty much parallel to the path that this thing is taking. So as it goes up to the northeast, you're pretty much in it at the moment, and you're going to be there right at that area that's going to see pretty much what you see is what you get from this point on. Although 201 for Birmingham, I think, was 87%, 201. It was 92% in Florence, Alabama at the 2:03 hour. So still about, 15 minutes away from both of those to make it there across Alabama. Same for Tennessee, Nashville, Tennessee, underneath some cloud cover, but nothing too terrible there at the moment. And then the rest of it is pretty much going to stay that way for the afternoon. I'm still looking cellular data. My cellular data is off. Everything I've tried to go to at the moment says that the server is down. So that was one of the things that we were, kind of wondering about as we moved into this phase of what was going on, whether or not it was going to interrupt business, especially e-commerce and the like, and the internet. And in some cases, I can obviously tell you, yes, it is, because we had to go to we always have a backup, and then we have another backup. But I think we went to the third backup, which is a green trash can that's holding my iPad at the moment. And the ability to get to you came from a backup server that we had to employ. And that's why we were not on right there at 12:30. But such is life. And that's just kind of the way it is. Right now, as you're standing there too, Brett was with us a few moments ago. He had to step away for a minute. Drew will be back with us in just a few moments as well. And if you have any questions, as long as it doesn't take like a true astronomer. I'm not an astronomer. I'm fascinated by what's going on, but pretty much, wow. You are full screen with somebody there. That's incredible. We're just going to look at that. It's Nick Stewart again, and just almost totality. You can just barely see a tiny crescent in the upper right-hand side of the screen. Amazing. He might be moving his camera just a little bit to adjust for it, but just really amazing. I'm going to step away for just a moment myself. I don't know what to say. It's an eerie feeling. Doesn't really sum it up, does it? And for those of you who are out west, I know it's a little odd for you to be watching it this way, but the darkness has sort of come here, and not totally dark, but it is like a twilight sort of feeling. I don't hear the birds. The birds were just chirping loudly a few moments ago, and I don't hear those either. There was always going to be some wonder about what would happen with wildlife, whether or not they would even pay attention to what was going on. But the birds were chirping, and now they're not. I had a little squirrel who was close during the day today, and the little squirrel hasn't said a peep. And I got a chicken at home, and I don't know what my chicken did. I hope my chicken's inside. Penny is inside, and it's just sort of an odd thing. I don't even think there's a sliver. There's a very small sliver on his camera once again there in Arkansas. He's in central Arkansas, which, as far as totality goes, there were people who booked their rooms there in Little Rock who did that a long time ago, well over a year ago, because it was hard to get a room in Little Rock and Hot Springs, anywhere across there. It was really tough to get a room. Well over a year ago. And then people started to leave thinking a few days ago that it was going to be too cloudy for that to be the deal, to even see anything at any point there. People started to leave and go to the northeastern United States to see the rest of it. But pretty much what happened was the clouds began to break a little bit earlier, and things looked pretty good there in eastern Texas along the line of totality. So just a really, really weird sort of, forecasting rain is one thing. It's difficult enough, but forecasting whether or not a cloud is going to obscure an eclipse is even odder. I understand we're live in quite a few classrooms right now across the country. If you've got a question for me that I can answer, love to do that. I'll do it the best I can. I'm a meteorologist, which I had some astronomy, and I was been on television for like 44 years now. And I've taken a lot of questions. Maybe I can answer your question. Some of the tough ones are what happens when an earthquake, a volcano, and a hurricane all meet at the same time. I get that one quite often when I go speak. And that's, that's not really something. Who is this? Nick Stewart in totality. That is amazing. That is amazing. That's totality because the whole ring is showing up all the way around the sun at the moment. So the moon is completely blocking the sun. That is crazy. Wow. I don't know how I feel about that. And I don't know if he changed. Nick's been following us ever since it began. I don't know if he's changed his filter or anything, but that's just pretty amazing there. His shot that he's showing. And as central Arkansas, as a totality has taken place, yes. Yeah, you need to do that. Jarvis is going to step away for just a moment. I may not be talking, Jarvis. You got any music for that? Pawn a little music up because I'd like to look at it myself and my chicken. I got some pictures of my chicken I want to look at. what's happening there. But right there across Plano in Texas, this is going to be coming in out of Capel, Texas. This is going to be from Justin Cooley. That's going to be what you got, that little crescent there on the bottom side, but that means that the actual moon is moving away. It's no longer blocking the totality of the sun. That was super cool a while ago. We had the donut rain. That was pretty amazing, Jarvis. And I don't know if we have that on tape, but I'd like to see that a little bit later on. We now have some thunderstorms forming just to the north of Houston, it looks like. The first real thunderstorms of the day that we were kind of concerned about a little bit earlier, but have now pretty much made their way across I-10, and they're going northward. They're going to be crossing across 44 there, it looks like, but then going northward and eastward out of that area. The tornado watch that we were looking at a little bit earlier, too. We don't have that up just yet. And again, my information is poor coming in from my telephone. So just going to have to sort of relook at that in just a few moments. And I'll give you an update on, let me do this. Let me see if I can find a little update here now that I've got a better signal. Do I? Watching it, I'd like to read it off. Is there any way that you could go to the NWS page? Is that the only page we can do right now? Is that is the radar loop? Can you pull up the watches? Because I just got that information. So there is a tornado watch now, and it's issued for Tyler, Jasper, Newton counties in Texas. The watch also goes over to Vernon and Rapides parishes in Louisiana. All modes of severe be possible, including the large hail. We call it gorilla hail. That could be a possibility this afternoon. Damaging wind gusts and tornadoes are possible. Good chances for additional severe weather, too, on Tuesday and Wednesday. So that whole area pretty much under fire as we go through the next several days, but includes counties all the way over to Alexandria, as far north as Monroe, Louisiana, and westward to Shreveport. That's where the actual area that we're concerned about during the day today is pretty much seen. You can see the red box indicating the tornado watch. It is not a warning. It's a tornado watch at the moment, but severe weather risk is there for the remainder of the day today. There are new severe weather outlooks. So for today, the enhanced region is there across the Capstone area of Texas, or the Red River Valley. Tomorrow, it moves further to the east into eastern Texas and still into Louisiana. And then on Wednesday, the enhanced risk comes further to the east. On Wednesday, it is enhanced from Jackson, Mississippi to Lake Charles, Louisiana, and includes Mobile, Alabama, and probably even the panhandle of Florida here on Wednesday afternoon. So we'll be following that very closely. 3 days of enhanced risk of severe thunderstorms that will be coming up, mostly due to the large hail that will be falling, but also the risk for tornadoes would be there as we go through and into the next, at least 72 hours, I think, and maybe even beyond, because it only goes to Wednesday. But then Thursday, that would obviously make a progression further to the east, over into South Alabama, Georgia, and north of I-10, basically, here in North Florida as well. get you up to date on where we are. You're watching the live elements of a total eclipse. It took place a few moments ago. The actual total eclipse was about 5-6 minutes long there across central Arkansas, but it's now moving on to the northeast. And you folks up in western Kentucky are beginning to see that more and more. I just saw pictures from all the way up and further to the north. And those are going to be areas now up in New York State. I know you got some clouds there. Hopefully you can duck out of some of those and get some good visibility. Ask me the question. We got a chat question. Go ahead, Jarvis. What is the purple color when the sun is at totality? I didn't see a purple color. It looked kind of like, I'm not really sure exactly what you're talking about, but there are many colors that are going to exist when that takes place. And I'm trying to think of the same, a good analogy, but if you've seen a rainbow, all of the different colors that come in a rainbow, those colors come because of the sun that is running through a prism in the water droplets themselves. They create a prism. So some of these colors are going to be reached in this very same process today. When you block the sun, you're getting different angles of what a particular ray of sun is coming in at a different angle, an opposing angle than it normally would, a straight down angle, and probably reflecting off of some of the moisture that's into the atmosphere. By moisture, I even mean clouds. We have clouds here, and we have clouds here that are well below freezing aloft. I think I saw a little bit earlier, up around 10,000 feet. The actual temperature is in the negatives. So it's cold aloft, and those are frozen clouds, cirrus clouds that are headed over you. I don't know where you are as a student there, but it's a great question. And I didn't really see the purple yet that you're talking about. And but I think I hope I properly answered that for you. As a meteorologist, I know about the different colors, especially like some of the sunsets that you see have brilliant colors to them. Some of the sunsets that some are more brilliant than others, and you always wonder, so why is today's sunset more brilliant than yesterday's? Believe it or not, a lot of times that's pollution. Oftentimes the sunlight is directed in another direction or through a different prism because of pollutants that are in the air, especially when the sun reaches the horizon. Think about it. When the sun is going down, it has a lot further travel time than if it were just above your head. As it moves away to the west, you've got so many masses, land masses, that the actual light has to travel through, and pollutants are in the air. And that actually is what brings you, of all things, brilliance when it comes to a sunset. And so I think that's probably what you're seeing, the purple that you were seeing a few moments ago. If you'll tell me what classroom you're writing from, I'll be happy to give you a shout out. Is fourth grade where? Do you know where it is, the fourth grade? Okay. Okay. All right. Oh, I'm sorry for you folks in Mississippi. I do empathize with you because I see all the cloud cover that you've got, and I see what's happening all the way down to the south. I know you got rain there. Some of that's moving eastward across Mississippi, but I-55, there are a few breaks, it looks like, maybe around I-55 from Jackson northward, perhaps. But I appreciate you watching us here this afternoon. We didn't get a good start. I apologize for that. I know we had a lot more people who were waiting than are watching at the moment because we failed to get on at the appropriate time. And so the late start probably turned a lot of people in the other direction. But thank you for being here if you are here. And if you've got a question for a meteorologist, I'd be happy to answer whatever you've got the best I possibly can. And we can kind of go from there. And as a meteorologist, the one thing I want to tell you is that in the Southeast, there are 3 days in a row, maybe 4, where there's the possibility for severe thunderstorms and large hail to take place. You might feel it. I feel a difference today in the humidity where I am, just south of I-10 in the Florida Panhandle. The humidity has come up. We call it the dew point. When the dew point gets up into the 60s, we can often see severe weather. 62, 63, when the dew point's up there, we get concerned about the availability of moisture. That brings the process of CAPE into the forecast, the convective available moisture that's there, the energy that is there. And that's one of those terms that we talk about often when we're talking about and discussing severe weather. If I were there at your fourth grade class, I'd be talking about Robbie the Raindrop, but I'm not. So invite me there. Maybe I'll come. Anything else? Any other questions? I'm going to have to step out for just a moment myself. And I'll be back soon. Got to go to the restroom. Be right back.
Brandon, are you here, buddy?
All right, everybody. Got producer Jarvis here. Gonna go ahead and end the stream here. It's been a great eclipse day in the USA here on April 8th. Appreciate you watching and stay tuned over the next couple hours. We're going to start a new stream for severe weather coverage. You don't want to miss that. Hit that subscribe button, click the like, and hit the notification bell, and we'll be back with you here in the next couple of hours for severe weather coverage.